Welcome to Conspiracy Cast, hosted right here at the Tales of Earth channel, where we sit down and look up some of your favorite conspiracies and decide if we believe it, if we don't believe it, why would people believe it, and what the hell is going on with those lizard people. We sit here and chat about this live on twitch.tv/eligiblemonster every Monday at about 2 p.m. Eastern, where you can watch the show live, or you can directly support us by subscribing to the channel or picking up our new merch, including a Cthulhu shirt and the I love the Illuminati shirt, both of which are on our merch store, which the link to is down below. You can also directly support us by going to our patreon.com/comicstorian page, where we share this with multiple channels, and you get access to all of those podcasts at once. Today's hosts are going to be Gary, known as Gary Cox, known as Lord Cox, known as Gary Hulk, Andrew, also known as Randall, and Benny, also known as the Comicstorian.
Sometimes I call you Rick.
It's Carl!
It's funny. That's everything you just said was exactly what I was going to say.
Liar.
That was amazing.
Do you want to redub it?
Even down to the even down to the
You should redub my voice in post.
I should.
With you doing it.
Yes. I'm going to memorize it, and then we're going to ADR your voice over me. That would be weird.
Would be weird.
Okay, so today, guys,
awkward.
we are going to talk about whether or not our government or other organizations are poisoning our food and water.
Why is there a box of Wheaties over there that you said was going to be related to today's show?
It's actually not going to be related to today's show, and I'm going to get into that.
It's just his breakfast.
So you just brought breakfast to work?
No, that's like death in a box.
His desk is over there,
literally
and
says
I come downstairs and I'm
death
just like,
in a box.
Wait, what?
Wheaties.
It doesn't
Wheaties.
actually say that.
Because it's wheat, I'm gluten-free. Come on, people.
Yeah, people.
I'm just reading Breakfast of Champions.
Nowhere on here does it say that it's death in a box.
box.
I don't feel like that would
Okay.
be really good advertising.
The reason I bought those was that there's this experiment you can do with Wheaties where you can actually pull like the iron out of the Wheaties. Wheaties will stick to a magnet.
Really?
Today's episode sponsored by Wheaties.
At least I'm still on camera. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, I can't tell. So the experiment is you can pull up Wheaties with a magnet. You can't do that with most of the cereals. And then I discovered, I was like, oh, wow, there's so much iron in these Wheaties. We're like being poisoned with shards of iron. We're not. It turns out that you can do this with a lot of like iron fortified cereals. You can break them down and extract the iron, and you can actually see the iron. And so initially I thought, wow, this would be great for conspiracy casts. And then I realized, oh no, kids do this in like third grade. So
What is today's episode? A third grade experiment.
yeah, exactly. So
We're also going to do leave Coca-Cola out and see what happens to a tooth.
yeah,
It'll take the rust right off a penny.
I was gonna say it'll clean a car battery.
That's true.
But yeah. So just go out to your car, pour a bunch of Coke. just leave it,
Or we
just
also
leave
do a
it.
baking soda and a
Yeah.
volcano.
Why not?
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Potato battery.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, so
I love our show.
Gary may have run out of ideas.
I want a shelf of light bulbs.
You know what this is
powered
going
by
to be?
potatoes.
Four Tales of Earth. It's going to be Gary's new show, Third
Yeah.
Grade Experiments. And Gary's just going to do third grade experiments.
That'd be a great show, actually.
I'd
Because
watch
it would
it.
teach adults how much they've actually forgotten.
Yeah,
since the
I'd
third grade.
watch it. I don't
Yeah.
remember doing any of that crap.
Yeah.
Just Andy and Gary, we're just going to tell them, make the potato battery work and just see what you remember.
Yeah. Here's like a fifth grade question. What is the largest organ on your body?
I know
What
my
is your-
I know my
what is your-
16-year-old
do you-
answer.
Do you want the serious answer? Or do you want me
Don't
to make a
give me
joke?
the
Skin.
serious answer. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Your skin is actually your largest
Now,
organ.
my
Yeah.
16-year-old answer is...
My bleep.
I was waiting for the
Okay.
bleep.
I was going to say hand. I don't know. Okay.
Your hand's big.
It's not an organ.
Man, I
It's
felt
Unfortunately
bad
for
you.
me,
joke.
it's my thumb.
We're moving on from this.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So
That's the football.
what if the end of the human
So we got to
world...
do a Tell Me Why So.
What if the end of the human world doesn't come by a giant meteor, climate change,
Comes by a giant box of Wheaties.
nuclear catastrophe, or even by the zombie apocalypse,
Lizard people.
but by way of your food and water? What if that is how mankind ends?
In what way, Gary? Please
I'm not
explain.
talking about water shortage or food famine. We're talking anthropogenic poison. Poison from the world's governments or perhaps our good friends at the Illuminati. They wouldn't hurt us.
Because we love the Illuminati.
so much.
apparently.
And Cthulhu.
You guys do realize I'm just like trying to schmooze the Illuminati.
No, I know.
Like I'm just trying to become an Illuminati.
Trust me, we know.
yeah.
We
Okay.
know how your brain
Yeah, they're
functions.
keeping
Yeah.
track. I mean,
Yeah.
we're keeping.
Like, what about that Gary guy? Could he join us? I mean, he loves us.
I put
The
in a
guy-
good
The guy
word.
adores us. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
But the lizard people Illuminati?
Don't worry about it.
Or the okay. There is a totem pole of paranoia and conspiracy belief, and this idea that we're slowly being intentionally poisoned is really up there. This idea seems insane, but no one ever claimed that those in power are in fact sane. The most popular theories are fluoride in the water for mind control. That's where we're going to start.
I've heard that one.
So what do you guys know about fluoride?
They have it in our water supply for mind control.
Okay. So everything I just said.
Pretty much. I mean, I knew that theory. I knew the conspiracy. I don't know the details to it. I've heard
Right.
the conspiracy before.
Okay. Benny, what do you know about fluoride in the water supply?
I know the conspiracy behind it that it's controlling our brains. I know that it supposedly strengthens your teeth.
Your cheeks.
Yeah. I do know that anybody that comes from, like Natalie coming from France,
Yeah.
finds our water weird.
Right.
That's why we have bottled water here. It's actually the reason why we have bottled water. She can't drink the water here without it tasting funny and weird to her.
Okay.
So
But the bottled water tastes fine?
That's weird to me. Because I wouldn't trust the bottled water either. Personally.
that's
This is why I never drink
That's
it.
just because
Plastic-
you and I go hiking and we go to the mountain stream, we pee in it.
Well, there's that too.
Okay. Well,
He's thinking about that.
there's so much I want to say to that, but
What
I'm
do you
not
want
going
to say
to.
to that?
It's funny because bottled water has like plastic particulates in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody has their own thing.
It's true.
Yes. So there's
you okay today, Gary?
Yes, I'm just being interrupted a lot. So there are some basic claims for the reason why fluoride is in our water. One is that it all started with the Nazis. The Nazis started it. They realized that fluoride in the water supply would pacify the Jews,
Okay.
make them controllable.
Sure.
Which we now know was not the case.
No.
Many of them revolted.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a good situation. But that's the idea, is that our government is like, hey, that's a great idea. If we want to control the American populace, let's put fluoride in the water. Tell them it's good for their teeth, and let the fluoride just calcify the pineal gland in the brain. So the pineal gland is what some cultures would say is our third eye. So it actually has a similar
No,
structure
that's
to an eye.
Tien and Dragon Ball.
Okay. No, I'm not joining you in that. I'm not joining you in that. So those are the basic claims for like the conspiracy theory of, fluoride's in our water is all for mind control. There's very little to no evidence of this, actually. I mean, there's evidence that there's fluoride in our water, but there's no real evidence that our government
Somebody is putting it there.
Yes. Well, that somebody is putting it there for mind control.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
it's actually a whole process our water goes through.
Right.
I think it's like something like 1 part per million. And like fluoride count is actually good for us. So this article comes from Cosmos, the science of everything. Does fluoride in the water lower your IQ? Some people believe fluoridation hinders neurodevelopment in children and cite a Harvard study to support their claims. Some controversial claims that the world is flat, for instance, or that apricot kernels can cure cancer are really easy to disprove. What happens, though, when a claim appears to have solid research behind it? Hang on, Benny.
Hold your questions to the end.
By scientists from America's prestigious Harvard University, no less. So the whole theory
Keep going.
that
Keep going.
fluoride, for the love, what is it?
You said, okay, we're talking about water, and now you brought up flat Earth, and I just realized, how does that even work? Wouldn't all the water just flow off the Earth, and eventually we have no water?
We have an ice wall
Right,
guarded
so
by
So
NASA.
the ice wall just constantly freezes back up and constantly melts and makes our
No, it never melts because the
Then where does
tiny,
the water
the
come
tiny
from?
sun that revolves around the flat Earth
Going back to our first
never
conspiracy
goes
here.
close enough to the ice wall to melt it.
Okay, so the water just is forever here?
Yeah. Well,
What's the problem?
well, even on a round Earth, the water is just forever here.
Well, yeah, but it can loop around on a round Earth.
What?
No, it doesn't come from rain.
Let's just
Same
keep
amount
going,
of
Gary.
water.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
Third grade experiments
yeah.
are stumping me again.
We also have a reservoir of water underneath the Earth's crust that's as large as like the ocean. So it's pretty amazing. I don't think we're going to run out of water.
No, but if we were flat Earth on a turtle's back, we would, is my point.
Turtle would drink the water.
So if you just
Keep
like
going, Gary.
drill the hole through the ice wall, you're like, oops.
That's my
out.
point. It's
Yeah.
not getting absorbed into the Earth if we're flat.
Right.
That's the point I was making. So it's not getting looped back properly to create clouds to rain to keep the water supply moving.
Well, technically, we would need an atmosphere, and the sun would burn up the atmosphere if it were. That's why flat Earth doesn't work.
Okay, I'm just
people.
I was like reconfirming flat Earth doesn't work. Okay.
If a ball of fire, if a ball of it's not actually fire, but if a giant red hot ball of burning gas was in our atmosphere would burn up.
Right.
Even if it was small.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Going back to fluoride. By scientists from America's prestigious Harvard University, no less. This is the case with fluoride in drinking water, a practice that has been going on for decades and has been repeatedly shown to reduce tooth decay in children and adults. But some people believe fluoridation is dangerous and try to have it stopped by spreading scare stories. Would have come up with a better word there. A very small group think it is downright evil, alleging that it was invented by Nazis or the American government or lizards from outer space.
It does not actually say
fluoride. Yes, it does actually say that.
I thought you were just throwing that in.
No, it actually says that. Some people actually believe that the fluoridation of our water is from the lizard people because that's our trump card.
So now I have this
lizard people.
Of the lizard people. They show up in their spaceship, right? And they're just cruising.
Drop tablets.
And they're just like, I mean, should we head down there with all our advanced technology? And they're, nah.
We need to pacify the people.
Send down the fluoride.
Send down the fluoride.
They're just dropping tablets. They're just flying over, just like shaking
And some
a bottle.
guys
But
like,
wait.
sure, yeah.
Is it 1 part per million? Hang on, let me check. They put a little dipstick in. Yeah.
We got it perfect. All right,
got it
good.
perfect.
That's
Okay.
what we want to slowly take over the population.
All right.
I mean, doesn't that just go to that They Live movie? I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And Bubble gum.
But they're not lizard people.
They're just
And
aliens.
fluoride has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, there's no fluoride in that movie. They just keep
They
going.
pacify with a very similar concept, though.
Well, no, they're just blending in.
No,
They're pacifying the populace
pacifying
with
the
like
populace.
with like a radio signal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, just not fluoride.
Yeah,
Probably
okay.
because they were like, fluoride, that's a dumb idea. Who'd believe that?
Yeah, it's
Do
good for your
radio
teeth.
signal. It makes more sense.
Actually, would make more sense. All right. As a form of mind control to turn us all into zombies. This is very easy to debunk. When was the last time you saw a zombie with nice teeth? That is not an argument. I'm sorry, that's not an argument.
Conspiracy debunked.
Yeah.
No
I've never
zombies
seen
have
it.
nice teeth.
With my own 2 eyes, I've never seen a zombie with nice teeth.
I've seen several with bad teeth.
Oh, I've seen a lot with bad teeth.
Yeah.
Have you seen Walking Dead?
No, I meant in real life.
Oh.
Have you ever seen a zombie with like nice hair?
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, there was that
What if
one.
it's
There
like
was
day
the one
one
with the
being a
zombie that
zombie?
tried to
Yeah,
date
day
the girl.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
they still, yeah.
There's that movie with Warm Bodies with the zombie
Yeah.
pretty boy that tried to date the girl.
Oh, with Beast.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a zombie walk by a window. He's like, he like flips his hair. Okay. In recent times, it has been okay.
That'd be Ben.
That would be Benny.
If any
He's still
zombie
like
was gonna do
walking around with his beard comb. Okay, so it's like no different from like tired early morning Benny walking down to the
Oh,
office.
you watch my streams?
Yeah.
Someone made fun of me yesterday because we were doing like I was rating and out of the blue I just habit was like that an itch. I was like, they're like, oh, I love that quick beard comb right in the middle of your raid.
In recent times, it has been claimed there is scientific evidence that fluoride in the water reduces the IQ of children, and that this has been proved. Actually, you would use the word proven. Just saying, by scientists from Harvard. So
Are you grammatically?
yes,
are
I
you
am.
the grammar cow?
Yes, I am.
For
So does fluoride?
CosmosMagazine.com.
Yep. Nobody's perfect. So does fluoride in drinking water make you stupid? And did Harvard scientists say so? No and no. The study usually quoted by anti-fluoride.
I feel like you didn't prep a lot to go with this conspiracy for the day.
What are you talking about?
It's just all like no.
He's still
no.
reading.
I'm
the
still working on it.
article.
You keep interrupting me.
No, I don't. Andy is.
Just keep going, Gary.
The study, usually quoted by anti-fluoride activists, dates from 2012. It was indeed written by Harvard scientists, a team led by Anna Choi from the university's Department of Environmental Health. And it does indeed say, quote, the results support the possibility of an adverse effect of high fluoride exposure on children's neurodevelopment. Now, the article goes on basically to say that their findings were that, yes, massive doses of fluoride can cause problems.
Sure.
Well, massive doses of anything
Exactly.
can cause problems.
Exactly.
It's like people assume that if you take ibuprofen, it's going to give you liver failure. What they neglect to look into is the fact that in order for that to give you liver failure, you have to be taking massive quantities on a regular basis.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like I tweeted out that I was trying Coke Zero. Like, hey, I kind of like the flavor of Coke Zero. And I was like, oh man, it's the worst thing for your body. It's so horrible. It uses artificial sweeteners that give you cancer. And I Googled. It took 2 seconds. Google it. In order to get like adverse effects from this artificial sweetener, you would have to drink gallons of this stuff a day. Anything in mass quantities is not going to be good for you.
Even oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get really stoned.
But this wasn't really a surprise to anyone. That's not what I read. The studies looked at by Choi and her team concerned parts of the world, Iran and China, mostly, where the natural fluoride levels in the water were extremely high, sometimes up to 10 or 11 millions per liter. Milligrams. Wait, 10 or 10 or 11 milligrams. That's what I meant to say per liter.
I like millions.
Millions. Millions of something.
Liters.
Fluoride levels in ordinary drinking water in the U.S. are about 1 milligram per liter. 1 milligram per liter in Australia and between 0.7 to 2 milligrams per liter in the U.S. These levels are way below the U.S. Environmental Protection Authority's maximum safe limit of 4 milligrams per liter. So there is not enough fluoride in our water to cause any adverse effects.
Now, the only thing I'm going to say about that is that is according to, what's the organization? I forget the exact words.
The EPA.
Yeah, so that's according to them, and they're run by the government. So if the government is putting fluoride in our water,
it's the Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's how every one of these that you're like, I could debunk it, and everyone's like, no, you can't. Here's the truth.
Here's the truth. You are being misled, you sheep.
All the sheep out there need to listen to me.
Exactly.
Oh, you sheep! What are we, Alex Jones now?
I don't know. I like people.
And try out my vitamins. Oh!
Now
you don't know about Alex Jones? He's the most famous conspiracy theorist that literally calls out every conspiracy to the point where he's a
every
problem.
Single one.
And
every
all of it turns into, if you don't want to get taken over by the fluoride in your water, take Alex Jones vitamins. Completely kills all the stuff. It could totally turn it into a weird vitamin thing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got so abrasive with it that they got banned from everything.
Oh.
Yep. Infowars. Have you heard of Infowars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here is the cold truth. So fluoride isn't where it ends. Like this idea that we're being poisoned either by organizations, corporations, or our government. Here's the cold, hard truth. This comes from detoxproject.org. Our government is not protecting us from the toxic chemicals being sprayed on our nation's food supply, and some of these dangerous poisons are even making their way into organic food. Mm-hmm. Glyphosate is the world's most popular chemical, with approximately 250 million pounds used each year in the U.S. and 1.65 billion pounds used globally. The World Health Organization said that glyphosate, the primary ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup, is a probable human carcinogen, which means that it probably causes cancer to humans. The state of California has said that glyphosate causes cancer and is now requiring Monsanto to put a cancer warning label on its Roundup products. Making matters worse is that an EPA official is accused of helping Monsanto, quote, kill a study linking cancer and glyphosate, and that the company would ghostwrite cancer safety papers for the government. Unbelievably, the USDA has dropped plans to test for glyphosate in food, despite the overwhelming evidence that it ought to.
What is glyphosate? So it's a chemical, obviously, but what is it?
Chemical.
What is it used for that it's sprayed on the food?
Pesticide.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. I believe pesticide. Maybe it's like a weed eater.
Yeah.
So,
I figured it was something along those lines. They're just wandering around spraying chemicals on the crab.
What is that?
I
don't know. Actually, there's a really creepy story where something like that happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where there was this chemical being dumped in this town on the roads because it helped keep the dirt roads together. But it turns out the chemical was really poisonous, and they knew it was. And
but the roads look fantastic.
Yeah, the roads look amazing. So while fluoride is not really that harmful, we are finding that the government may just not care about whether or not our food is being poisoned.
I believe that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that may not be intentional.
I was going to say,
passively intentional.
Yeah, I was going to say that'd probably be my guess would be, while nobody's sitting there going, I need you to dump all these chemicals onto here.
Yeah.
They're probably aware of it and they just don't care.
Right. They don't. Yeah. It's
going
to hurt someone's profit
believe.
margin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. This is especially infuriating since 93% of Americans were found to have glyphosate residues in their urine. As per the recent report, glyphosate unsafe on any plate, many of the most common household foods, including some organic ones, were found to have high levels of glyphosate. While conventionally grown foods are allowed to have glyphosate sprayed on them, this chemical is prohibited under organic regulations, yet it is still making its way into some organic foods, either through drift or other means. So there's another aspect to this theory. Are we being poisoned by our water or our food? So this one basically claims that the FDA is just turning a blind eye. So,
I mean, I could see
that Monsanto knows we're being poisoned,
I could see that being in there just because profit. It's a bottom line thing.
Sure.
If we're trying to stop everything, it's going to cost money to test it. We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If this were true, I wouldn't say it's outright like they're doing it intentionally.
Right.
I think if this were true, I would say it'd be more along the lines of like, if we don't know about it.
Well, and it's probably one of those things where they're like,
yeah.
well, these people got cancer. Well, how many people? Be like, well,
exactly.
Well, 4. Yep. Like, okay, can you prove it was 100% from this chemical?
Well, it's kind of. It reminds me of. Did anyone see the movie Aaron Brockovich?
Yes.
Not actually, I haven't.
Well, it's about that type of a thing, though, where they discovered that the water is polluted, but they were claiming that not enough people had issues.
That's what I'm saying. So they could run into that where it's like, well, okay, if there was only 4 people or whatever, and you can't 100% prove it came from this chemical.
Right.
Well, there's just too much effort and money to start doing it. So we'll just call it.
Right. Well, it's like the cigarette debate.
Yeah.
You know, cigarette companies have known for decades and decades and decades that cigarettes cause cancer.
Yeah.
And other health problems. But they're basically, so if you take a strict approach with the scientific method and you say that the scientific method is you go from uncertainty to less uncertainty. Mm-hmm. That's the scientific method. So if you claim that, you're like, oh, well, we use the scientific method. We're using science to determine whether or not cigarettes cause cancer. You could technically say, we are not entirely certain.
Right.
Because that is the scientific method.
Yeah.
So when they say we are not 100% certain that cigarettes cause cancer, they're not lying.
Right.
Because all you can say scientifically is that, well, in these studies, in these experiments, this like 90% of the time, it caused types of cancer.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, yes, absolutely.
It was 100%.
It was 100%
from
yes
the
from
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically you can't like sue somebody because they're technically not lying.
Right. It's loopholes.
It's loopholes.
That's the best kind of not lying. Technically.
Technically.
We're calling that a not technically lying.
Another claim by conspiracy theorists who say that our food and water supply is being poisoned points us to Wheaties, the cereal, like Benny freaked out about earlier in this episode. Wheaties cereal sticks to magnets because it contains iron. This comes from Snopes.com.
Aren't a lot of cereals fortified with iron?
I have a question.
It's not just Wheaties.
They are. It's not just Wheaties.
I have a question related to the Wheaties. What you playing with this box now? You can't eat this.
I can eat. You can eat it.
I don't eat Wheaties.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
I get more iron in my diet. I got nearly enough metal.
All right. So in January 2014, alternative health and conspiracy website naturalnews.com posted a video showing Wheaties cereal flakes sticking to a magnet, which is itself kind of creepy. You're like, I don't want my food sticking to a magnet.
Right.
That's a lot of iron.
That's what she said.
The site, sure. The site claimed that this was irrefutable proof that the cereal is full of metal fragments. The video, metal fragments. The video created by
like a shard.
Looks healthy. Need
Well,
iron.
I mean, isn't most cereal just forms of cardboard anyway? They're very cardboard oriented.
It's like air and wheat and sugar.
I don't think Lucky Charms are real marshmallows. Just saying.
The video created by the Health
in lump
Ranger,
format.
Mike Adams, was created to give the impression that the flakes were hidden in the cereal by a never-do-well corporation. Who would say that? Wheaties breakfast... Yeah. So we're not going to watch the video. However, the experiment performed by Adams is not new, nor is it limited to Wheaties. A spokesman for General Mills, which manufactures Wheaties, told us that the reaction is caused by iron fortification in the cereal and is not a cause for alarm. Indeed, in 2011, Scientific American posted instructions on how to perform the experiment with any iron-fortified breakfast cereal.
So if I go get a magnet upstairs.
Yes, a strong magnet.
Oh.
Has to
So
be like a
like a
strong
fridge
magnet.
magnet's not going to work.
Probably not.
Did you bring a strong magnet?
No, because I decided not to do the experiment.
But you brought the Wheaties.
Yes, we got the Wheaties before I decided not to do the experiment.
Don't question his methods.
Yeah.
But it's funny because
I realized,
you always heard on like commercials and stuff like that, like this cereal is now fortified with iron.
Right.
And everyone thought it was a good thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's like, hell yeah, I need more iron in my diet. Woo.
Absolutely.
And now everyone's like, they're killing us.
They're killing us. Yeah.
They were killing you way back then too. I don't
You do
know.
realize that iron is in your blood.
That's true.
Like iron is in a lot of different foods. It's not just in our cereal. If you eat a steak, you're getting iron.
Yep.
So
Well, that's a good way
you
to
could
do it, though.
technically separate the iron from the steak if you go through a certain process.
Yeah.
So that's another theory that, oh, there's iron in our cereal. They're poisoning us. Actually, no.
Your blood system needs it.
Your blood system needs it. And just because you can separate it from the food, you can actually separate DNA from a strawberry. You can actually physically hold a DNA strand from a strawberry. Yeah.
I would like to see you do that.
You basically put water and a strawberry in a bag and you mush it up. And you just keep going, and you can actually pull a DNA strand out from the strawberry.
I have a strawberry upstairs.
Yeah. We're not going to do it right now. It'll take like 20 minutes.
You can do it while you're talking.
It's really interesting.
Today's show brought to you by Gary Nye, the science guy.
I like that name.
I do, yeah.
Gary Nye, the science guy.
All right. So here is where this theory gets a little more close to home. Like, I can handle iron in my... I can handle, like, zombification.
Sure.
Terminated a zombie, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good experience. I'll journal about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next theory is, are we being sterilized
God, I hope so.
slowly or quickly by our government?
I mean, I sit on a microwave every morning.
Just to be safe.
Good hour of
Yeah,
just
yeah,
letting
yeah,
it go.
Also been proven that doesn't cause sterilization either.
Oh, man.
South Park told me otherwise.
Yeah, microwaves are actually too big to affect us on a cellular level. Same with radio waves. They're too large.
This is kind of related to that.
Little
Yeah.
microwave with that one.
Did you hear that
Your
there was
logic is sound. A tiny microwave, yeah.
Did you hear that there was a mysterious signal that they couldn't find the source of? NASA
Oh, I did
Yeah.
hear about
could
this,
not
yeah.
find the source of it for like 20 years.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
always this mysterious.
It was the wow signal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They discovered it's a microwave in the offices.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
No.
they discovered it was a microwave like downstairs.
Wow. They should write wow on the,
So
on
apparently,
the microwave.
the reason why they couldn't track it down is it wasn't the microwave in general. It was if somebody stopped it mid, like opened the door as it was cooking.
Interesting.
That would cause the spike.
So on like frozen burrito day, they're like, we're getting contacted left and right.
God, there's so many UFOs out
so many
there.
UFOs out there. That makes me like,
And then like some guy would pop in the office. Anybody want any popcorn? I just took it out.
yeah, no. You got to see
No,
this.
seriously, man, come over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
There's a whole article on the two
That
scientists
is
who found it and how they
hilarious.
tested it all out. And they were like, we traced it to something in the building, but we couldn't figure it out. And then somebody just opened up the microwave door.
That's funny.
That is hilarious. It actually makes me not so hopeful for SETI.
Right?
Like, SETI's a cool project, but if you had conspiracy theorists like running amok because of a signal from what, 20, 30 years ago,
Right.
that was caused by a microwave,
Right.
being opened mid popcorn
Imagine
pop
that.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was like you dedicated
Yeah.
your entire life's work to figuring out this signal.
Yeah. You got like millions of dollars of grants.
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes me sad.
And you know what you do with the grant? You bought more popcorn.
So
Yeah,
technically, it was used for the experiment.
You just weren't aware that it was being used for the
Yes.
experiment.
So they can't get mad at me for purchasing
Yeah.
all that popcorn with that grant.
This is what Haney does with his science grants, guys. Buys popcorn in a microwave.
Our government did at a time sterilize more than 60,000 people back in the 1960s.
Well, was that the one where they were sterilizing the gays, or was it the
Just anybody. Well, no, it was just anybody they thought was unfit to pass. This is during like the eugenics craze.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same,
Anybody
it's the
they
same
thought
thing,
was
yeah.
unfit to carry on their.
They were like,
their
"Oh,
genetics, yeah.
you like men?
Yep.
No babies ever."
But it is interesting. U.S. birth rates since 2018, they found that U.S. birth rates were at an 32-year low
When? In the 60s?
in 2018.
Oh,
2018. Well, that's actually
2018.
another thing. Apparently, people are no longer having sex. I was actually reading an article about it at the beginning of this year. 2019 is lower than 2018 because apparently people are getting into their 30s and just not having sex. They're like, adults are not having sex anymore.
Huh.
What are y'all doing with your
I
free
legitimately, I legitimately can't comprehend that.
I'm just saying, like, apparently,
time?
we're
I'm
like,
in my 30s. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing with my
I'm
free
just
time.
apparently
Most people are at their prime in their 30s.
apparently we're at an all-time low for adults having sex.
Japan's having the same issue.
Well, Japan's issue is a little different
yes.
because
They don't have as many women.
they don't have as many women, and the dating
Yes.
situation is so weird over
Yeah,
there.
well, you have young men who would prefer a digital companion.
Right, because when she
Legit-
argues, I turn her off.
Dan.
Wow.
Goggles off. All right, I'm good.
All right. So the number of
I don't like that
babies,
idea.
the number of babies born in the U.S. in 2018 fell to the lowest level in 32 years, according to a government report released Wednesday, whenever that was. The numbers are part of a decade-long trend toward fewer and fewer babies being born each year, which means we're getting further away from the possibility of having enough children to replace ourselves. According to the report,
I have heard that
Yes.
a
Well,
lot.
there's
yeah.
actually
Yeah,
a
yeah.
conspiracy theory
yes.
to an actual theory that what's happening is actually what happens every single time. There's a reason why the population never booms to the point where we have to leave the planet. All
Right.
science fiction where it's like, well, we got to go to Mars. We have too many
We're
people.
overpopulated. That's why overpopulation will never happen.
It's like one extra guy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But like there's like something within like human nature and Earth and everything that if a population is getting too strong, it just kind of curbs itself.
Yeah, it does.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of the theory
Yeah.
is that what's happening now is just us curbing our own population.
I mean, you look at the baby
No
boomer.
one
I
wants to
believe
have
it's-
sex because the Earth's like, stop having kids.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, there are a lot of factors, though. There's, oh, well, we all want to be career oriented, or we just want to have fewer children.
I have all of you. I'm good.
Were your kids?
Yeah.
I don't know. Half the time we have to take care of you. So
Yeah,
I don't know
well,
about that.
That's how it works. Like you
No,
have
no,
children,
but
you
like-
raise
not
them.
Like, not like your grandparents where we
Okay,
got to like
yeah.
change his diaper. It's just like, Ben,
You've never
did
changed
you
his
remember
diaper?
to shower today?
You've never changed his diaper? That's
I
weird.
didn't.
That's weird.
That's weird.
My dad
But that is a very real concern. That it's not about just replacing ourselves, like making sure the human population continues to grow. It's also a financial concern because you basically have this younger generation that is not as big as or bigger than the older generation, so they can't create enough revenue
Right.
to support the older generation.
Yep.
And that's a huge concern. The numbers are part of a decades-long trending toward fewer and fewer babies. I just read that. The major finding is that the fertility rates are reaching record lows.
Yep.
Says the report's lead author, Brandy Hamilton, a statistician and demographer at the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. She says, and I quote, "There have been record lows in the teenage birth rate, which fell 7% compared to 2017." That's probably a good thing.
I was gonna say, isn't that a good?
That's a
thing?
good
Like
thing.
we have an overpopulation issue. We need to start curbing the population down.
No, I meant the teenage birth
yes.
rate.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
was
Yeah,
gonna say that's a good thing. Teenagers should not be having kids. I'm sorry.
no. I
not
need more
today.
teen mom.
Hamilton and his colleagues found that the total number of births in 2018 at 3,788,235,000 was down 2% from 2017. It's actually a huge drop from one
Yeah,
year
I was
to the
gonna say
next.
2% of like 3 million is
Yes,
a lot.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
The general
What's that
fertility
number,
rate.
Andy?
no idea.
Crunch
The
it.
general
Me no
fertility
math,
rate. The general fertility rate for 2018 was 59.0 births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44, another record low for the U.S.
Who's having kids at 15? Why?
So some people, yeah.
Got to get in there early.
Those are the ones who shouldn't be having sex.
That way, when you're 30, you're just hanging out with your kid.
Here we go.
Use your butts.
Who's like 20?
Delaying marriage and childbirth. Japan, in particular, is having issues related to declining birth rates because of its immigration policies. Rose said they don't
They don't have
have
women.
they
They're
don't
not
have an
having
adequate workforce to take care of a very large elderly population. He explained it's a real challenge for them. Studies have shown that women are delaying both marriage and childbirth, said Donna Strabino, professor and chair of education, population, family, and reproductive health at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Wow, that was very specific. We are clearly in the throes of major social change with regard to women getting married and choosing to have children. So the issue is, and I don't know that I would label it an issue, but it's that women are more career oriented.
Oh, yeah.
They're basically
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I don't want to have kids. I want to, it's like not like men can have kids,
Yet.
We can't just like birth an egg,
According to Junior, we can.
according to Junior.
The movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah,
Okay. You seem
yeah.
confused.
How did they give him a womb?
Don't worry about it.
They actually said the science in the movie, and if I remember correctly, that science was spot on, perfect.
Yeah, it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it was
yeah.
a documentary.
So it was Kindergarten Cop.
That's
Yeah.
true. And Terminator.
Documentary and Terminator.
They're like remaking Kindergarten Cop with Dave Bautista. He's a CIA agent who has gets a little girl and he has to protect her.
No, that's not Kindergarten Cop.
Okay,
I don't think you understand the purpose of
every like hero, like movie hero, needs to do a family oriented,
Yep.
Yeah.
like
Vin
protect the
Diesel
children.
did it,
Yes,
The Rock did
yes,
it.
they all
Which
do
one
it.
of them was the
Batista's
Tooth
doing
Fairy?
it. That was.
And it's always like the fish
Rock.
out. Yeah. It's always like the fish out of water kind of
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how to discipline a child.
It's like they start off making like cheesy action movies. They go to
Yes.
do the family friendly movies, and then they go straight into R-rated movies.
Yeah.
I
That's
Dave
true.
Bautista, didn't he start with like Guardians? What did he do before that? Yeah, that's a different show.
was gonna say, I think that's a different discussion.
All right, so some people will claim that we are, and they can't. The funny thing about this particular theory is that if we are being sterilized, they can't point to one thing.
No, yeah,
Yeah, it's the food, maybe Maybe it's the sun. I don't know. Like maybe it's microwaves, which
Right,
we've proven
yeah.
isn't an issue. We can't point little microwaves.
Little microwave.
We can't point to any one thing that's causing sterilization because, granted, fertility rates, actual fertility rates, like people who can have kids,
Right.
is at an all-time or low fertility rates are. How am I trying to say this? Infertility.
Okay.
Is I believe increasing.
Okay. I'm with.
So
I can see that. It's the cell
Yes.
phones in your pocket.
I just told you that's
Actually-
not possible.
It is possible.
No, it's not possible.
But what I was going to say is, hold on. No, this is going somewhere.
Okay.
I doubt it, but go ahead.
No, I legit
Yeah,
out.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Gary,
Yes.
we're going to talk about you for a little bit.
Okay.
What do you do every evening for fear of what it could be doing to you?
What?
What do you do every
This is
evening?
getting awfly personal.
I don't know. What are we talking about?
Gary
that's a big.
disconnects
That's
his
a.
Wi-Fi.
That's a
'cause
broad
he doesn't know what
question.
it can potentially do to him.
I stopped doing that.
I started feeling that
Because you
was kinda
realized
crazy.
it was crazy.
He
No,
came in
no.
one day and we were talking about something, and he kept, oh yeah, I disconnected my Wi-Fi at night. Well, why do you disconnect your Wi-Fi?
It was an experiment. I was trying it.
To see
I
if
was
you
like,
still have kids?
No,
Well,
no, no, no,
congratulations.
No, no, no. Yeah, we're fine there so far. No, it was an experiment to see how disconnecting Wi-Fi, because I mean, we are bombarded by radio signals
Right.
all the time.
That was your theory.
and we've never done that before. So we are at as far as radio signals go, we are at an all-time high in saturation.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to cut back on some of that. Like,
Right, and so what I-
constant bombardment of radio signals can't be good for you. But
And what I'm saying is
Yes.
you're saying that the cell phone can't do it.
right. So Wi-Fi is a very similar
Right.
wavelength.
And so I
Yeah.
didn't realize he had stopped doing it.
Yes.
But I thought I was going to call him out on something.
No,
and
no,
he's
no.
like, it doesn't work
No.
at all. Well, Gary, why do you do? Well, maybe it does.
The
He's
one
like, no, I
thing-
stopped doing
okay.
that because it doesn't work at all.
That's what I was gonna
He just
catch
helped
him.
his own
Yeah,
argument.
yeah. So the one thing that I did notice is that I did sleep a little better, but that was about it.
I think,
But can
I
you
think that's 'cause
pinpoint
had
that it
one-
was from the Wi-Fi?
No,
No, I
it
think
could
it's 'cause
it could have
they had one less
been.
kid.
That's possible.
Yeah, he actually slept really well
And
last
that could
night.
also
so
be a mental thing, though, because
Yeah.
you could be in your mind subconsciously worrying
telling
about these
myself
Wi-Fi
Yeah, yeah.
signals.
Oh, I think
and now
some of
it's
it
off. Oh, it
yes.
can't hit me anymore.
I think some of it's subconscious. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
oh, I've just improved my health. So
Right.
If he had kept doing that, I think my point would have been made.
Thankfully, he didn't, and it wasn't.
yes. So
I had a good point. I'm really
low-
sad. I had a good one for once.
low birth rates and infertility is becoming an issue, but we can't really pinpoint it. So you can't really blame it on the government
And it's not Wi-Fi.
or the Illuminati or lizard people from another dimension
You
posing
can.
as angels.
It's the goddamn lizard people.
It's always the lizard
But you say
people.
they don't exist. You freak out
Another
every time we
dimension. I'll
bring up.
take
Yeah.
it. Another dimension.
So they have to be lizard people from another dimension.
Right. That could be functional.
That can be functional. I can get behind that.
Wait, so if they're
Lizard-
from space?
No, that
you're
doesn't
not
work.
on board. But
doesn't-
alternate reality lizard people.
Yes.
That works for you.
We've hit the lizard people debate part of our episode.
I'm gonna make our next
Yeah.
show. Lizard people. I don't believe in you.
No, actually, I think somebody commented in the chat. It should just be like a cartoon version of you screaming about the lizard people.
Lizard people.
Like it's like
Lizard
a
people.
speed bubble or something. I don't know.
All right. This article comes from freshlightsource.com. Lastly, we're being poisoned so the elite can cull the population.
That one I
That's
believe.
the scary one.
Because I've been poisoning you guys since you all came to work for me.
But why'd you stop? Let me think about that.
No, you're dying.
Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. Let's go back. So you're trying to cull us.
Yeah.
That means you'd have to set up all the cameras and the lights and
You have to
upload
train new people
everything. Yeah, I
again.
was gonna say that's
It's a constant rotation. I kill all of you, then I hire new people in, and I'm culling the population 9 people at a time.
interesting. It's an interesting plan. He's like, we should be back on track in a couple million years.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't keep up.
They're just not dying fast enough.
I love this article. So this is from freshlightsource.com.
I just like that cartoon.
Yes. Yeah. When you realize what is really going on in the U.S., the conclusion becomes inescapable.
It becomes inescapable, Gary. Don't read this.
Inescapable.
All our viewers will know.
My illustration on the left is really much too tame. It's a guy with like a giant screw through his chest.
Because the government is screwing you.
Yeah. I don't mean to imply that you'll just have to live with stupid government stunts, as if the screw they're turning into our collective chests might be only a painful inconvenience. The reality of what's truly happening inside the United States is far, far more terrifying than just being screwed. Because quite literally, they are trying to kill us. That's what the article says. This article actually covers
article.
vaccines, which
Yeah, this is a huge article.
which we know are not killing us, chemtrails, which we've already covered on the show, and genetically modified foods, which actually can be genetically modified to our benefit, believe it or not.
For the record, because you mentioned vaccines, I will say we are not going to cover the anti-vax conspiracy.
No,
Way too hot button of a topic.
Too hot button. Easily disproven,
Yeah.
but too hot button. Yeah.
Well, we're not even going into it.
No,
Because you mentioned it, and I'm already seeing the comments.
Yeah.
We're not touching the vaccine conspiracies.
No. Actually, we should make like a blacklist of conspiracies. And then people will think that
We're not talking about that. Like, there's already a blacklist. Is that?
Yeah. That's the video. It's just us going down and being like, nope.
Well, like we already agreed we wouldn't discuss the 9/11 conspiracies.
Sure.
Yes.
The school shooting conspiracies.
Right.
Like the ones that are quite obviously everyone's very heated on both sides of the argument.
Yep.
We do the fun conspiracies. Like goddamn lizard people coming from space to put freaking fluoride into my water to calcify me over a million years.
Maybe fluoride is their tea.
Oh, an interesting
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
So they're just making the whole planet tea-based?
Yeah. They could just like dip a cup into a reservoir. It's like, tea time, chaps. Anyway,
I say, why are they British?
They're British lizards.
have you never seen a Star Wars movie? All the villains are British.
Yeah, but the lizards aren't evil in that movie. Well, I mean, there's one, he's a bounty hunter. But, I mean, other than that, there's not like all of them are evil.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the biggest theories. And what I found in my research, and this is the interesting thing, and I think I've mentioned this maybe once every 3 or 4 episodes, is that you go to dive into a conspiracy theory that people like claim is like pivotal and it's huge. And how can you not believe this? And you go to deep dive into it and you realize there's nothing to go off.
Yeah, there's no like actual basis.
They're claims with no basis.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the problems we run into.
They take
Yes.
the smallest thing and they blow it up.
Yes.
To
I
make
mean,
Exactly.
not to attack the flat Earth thing, but a lot of their arguments are based on that. It'll be like
Yes.
a very small thing,
Yeah.
and it's blown out of this crazy proportion.
It's like, as you
Yes.
can see, based on this, everything I just said was accurate.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of
Yes.
it comes from. A lot of the flat Earth discussions come from. Well, you can't fully disprove what I said because you're trusting a government.
Yeah.
You know,
or when you
like,
get on an airplane to go to the other side of the world, you're
Right.
trusting that they
Exactly.
flew in it, whatever. Yeah.
So it's taking the basis of an argument and just blowing it way out of proportion.
Yes. Now, what I do find interesting, and this is, I'm looking at you, Google,
You're
is
looking at
that
Snoops.
figuratively, Benny, figuratively,
Like the CEO?
no, just
I run this company.
okay. Alpha. I'm looking at you, Alphabet. Why did my voice just crack? I'm looking at you.
it's
I'm looking at you. All
Michael
right, it's
Cera.
going well, Michael
Gary
Cera.
today, played by Michael Cera.
I start like twitching, and I turn into Michael Cera. Polyjuice potion. Is that when you go to Google a conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
not just on YouTube, because I know they're like cracking down on YouTube, just on Google, when you go to Google a conspiracy theory that you know things will pop up for, nothing comes up. In fact, all that comes up is that conspiracy theory being disproven.
Yep.
Is articles and
I see,
videos
okay.
that disprove what
Right.
you're trying to find.
Nothing
But
that
there was
proves.
a
Yeah.
there was a time like let's say specifically like 2009. I remember sitting in my apartment. It was living in that apartment when I like really started going down the rabbit hole of conspiracy
Right,
theories.
right. Oh,
And you could Google
90.
Is the government calling the population, and you'd get like 100,000 results proving that they are.
Yeah.
You do that now. And what you get are the government is not calling the population. Like you get these links that are
So you're saying that's
positive.
a conspiracy?
Yes, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if we want to be demonetized, we could just attack Alphabet.
Okay.
So when I admittedly when I looked for information on just that idea that the government is trying to call the population and looking for proof, nothing came up.
Convenient.
Except for the fact that the FBI is now watching you through your camera.
They are.
Yeah.
So guys,
I'm gonna laugh one day because Gary goes down some deep rabbit holes to
Yeah,
find these
same.
topics.
Yes.
Just like turning off his Wi-Fi and stuff. He comes down here, we just look over, and it's taped over his webcam.
He's
Oh,
also
yeah.
in like a bathrobe covered in Cheeto dust. Just
And
like
he's walking around in Kleenex boxes.
in Kleenex boxes.
Those are your shoes.
Howard
Why?
Hughes.
Howard Hughes did
No,
that.
I know, but why Kleenex?
We don't know why
boxes?
For
he
some
did it.
reason, he keeps his urine in a jar.
He's carrying it.
He's carrying
I have to add to it, guys.
I can only trust my own water supply.
I think
so-
at that time we need a new host.
Yes. So, or just keep me on. You'll get a lot
I
of
was gonna
views.
say, yeah, we definitely got to stay on with him.
So what do you guys think? I mean, can you think of any stories where or things that you've read or seen that could point to
Not
the government
really.
calling the population besides food? That's the thing that the theory always goes to is they're poisoning our food.
Well, I mean, so there is the eugenics.
Yes.
It's eugenics. Yeah, that's the word.
It's a dark chapter in U.S.
It
history.
is, but what I'm saying,
yeah.
things like this have happened.
Yes, they have.
So the concept that they're trying to do it in a much more subtle way, because look what happened
Yes.
and all of that other stuff, I could see that.
But that's the thing, is that without going back and looking at what the government has done and declassified.
Is there anything currently
Exactly, that's
that
the thing.
points to them doing it?
And I could sit here for days and talk about the things the government has done in the past to control the population, call the
MK
whatever,
Ultra?
MK Ultra, eugenics, all of that, but nothing points to anything happening
that is currently
in
happening.
the present.
Well, yeah, but we
Yes.
didn't find out when they did the other things at the
Exactly.
exact moment. So
Which means there's no information currently available.
don't eat Pop-Tarts because that's not frosting. It's government juice.
That didn't sound right.
Ta-
That didn't
We
sound
should
right
have
at
a new
all.
product on the store.
Government juice.
Government juice. What's in it? We'll never tell you.
And then on the back it just says fluoride. Iron.
Fluoride. Yeah, fluoride, iron. Chemtrails. What?
Yeah, there's actually chemtrails in.
There's actually chemtrails in it. See the swirly stuff? Those are chemtrails.
Skin of lizard people.
No, got
Okay.
weird again.
What's the source? Interdimensional lizard people?
No,
Or
from
alien
space.
lizard- oh,
yeah,
from
they're from
space.
space. The ones
Okay.
that Ben doesn't like.
The ones that bet, yeah. Government juice. I like it. Why Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, I know. That was out of nowhere.
Fine, Hot Pockets are filled with government juice.
Oh, no, stop saying things are filled with government
It
juice.
just sounds
It
gross.
doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
But government juice is what makes you like believe there's
Just
stuff.
So the
stop
Washington-
saying government juice.
Never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, it's a terrible image.
No,
Where
I
are
would
you
do it.
going?
I was
now.
going to say,
need
so
that.
what? The Washington Monument is filled with government juice?
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like,
it is.
nope.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yep.
Because it's basically a phallus.
No.
And it
Yes.
periodically sprays it.
Yes.
And you're all brainwashed by the government juice.
Yeah,
Oddly
by the
enough, so
government
does the
juice.
Lincoln Monument, but from a different area.
Yes, fingers. What were you
Government
thinking?
juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where else?
Yeah.
Okay.
IBs.
IBs.
Government juice shooting at his IBs.
So,
Which is Pop-Tarts frosting. See, I took it back around.
Yeah, totally made sense now.
besides government juice, what do you guys think about this theory? Are we being poisoned in our intentional? The issue is
I was gonna say,
intentionally.
we're being poisoned, sure.
Yeah.
Whether it's intentional, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't think there's enough evidence to point at it being intentional.
I like to give Gary crap for the things he does, like disconnecting his Wi-Fi or setting up a poetry book we'll never read. But I do believe in his organic approach because it's the best way to avoid getting
Yeah.
unknown elements in your food.
Yeah, the issue is
Okay, to
the
be
human.
fair though, you still don't know what elements are in your food unless you're fully making it
No,
yourself.
I agree. But I like
That's
to
all I'm
believe that organic means nothing.
Well, I was gonna say putting organic on the package is just a
Did you get those organic Doritos?
like a subconscious, like it's just to make you feel better about.
Oh,
it.
Oh, it
yeah,
is,
yeah.
and you spend more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's all it is.
In many cases, there are some cases where eating organic is actually better for you because
no.
the human body is actually incredible at filtering out toxins and chemicals and things like that. It's when you have too much of it,
Right, yeah.
that you start running into problems.
Right.
That's why you should eat organic and
Yeah.
natural and things
And that's
like
what I'm
that.
saying. Organic
Yeah,
is
yeah.
obviously definitely
But
better
at the
for
same
you.
time,
But unless you're 100% growing it yourself, you really don't
You
know.
can't
exactly.
guarantee
Yeah.
it. Yeah, as we just discovered, even some organic foods have these chemicals on them. But that doesn't mean you can't occasionally enjoy like Cheetos or
Right, yeah.
like something processed. Your body can handle it, just not all the time.
Yeah, it's when you're only eating Cheetos.
Yes, exactly. So my conclusion personally is that our government is not calling the population
That way.
that way in a way that is detectable.
No, definitely not.
They're too smart, honestly, to do something that we would like catch on to.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, if it is happening, it is not based on any of the things that everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, so
and
you
we'll
know,
never catch on to it until much later, and we all
Yeah,
discover
30 years
When it's
from now, when they
declassified.
declassify it for us
right,
and let us
exactly.
know.
Oh, by the way, yeah, that
Well, okay. Question for you, based on
yeah,
this:
okay.
30 years from now, you find out that gluten isn't actually a thing at all, and the government conspiracy was that gluten-free is like a whole thing that the government created is real.
Why would?
Well-
what would they have? What would be the purpose of gluten free?
I would be extremely
Mark up the cost of things that
That's-
taste poor and
Yeah.
sell other merchandise.
Yeah. How's your bread? It's good. So
But real quick, before everyone attacks me, I've had a lot of Gary's gluten-free food. Some of it I do enjoy.
yeah, some of it's
I like
pretty
the
good.
pretzels.
Some of it is just a
Pretzels are
pizza
good.
on a cracker.
Yeah.
The pretzels are really good.
Some
Your
of it,
bread not so
and
much.
some of it you can't tell the difference. But
Yeah, some of it you can't.
if that's true, I would be very angry I could be
You
drinking
spend a lot of
Guinness.
money.
I could be drinking Guinness this whole time. And you're telling me I can't.
And it's and the
That
fact
is
that
mean.
because we always say that you get gluten high, but the fact
Yeah.
is that's all a subconscious thing because in your mind you're not supposed to have gluten.
In my mind, I'm like, this is so good.
Oh my god! And then you get like high off of the gluten.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's actually a mean thought.
It's a mean thought.
I really hope
that's a
that's a
mean
thing.
theory.
30
That
years from now,
gluten-free actually isn't a thing at all.
Scientists discover that gluten free isn't a thing.
Well, oh well.
Gary, I don't know if we'll know each other in 30 years. If we'll still be friends.
I hope we all are.
But I will most likely
in our
try
60s.
to find you and call you and be like, ha
Gary
ha.
already dresses like he's in his 60s.
I like
Gary,
these
what was that?
cardigans.
Gary,
I
what
don't
was
care
that sound? Oh, that was a Guinness bottle. I'm on my 10th.
Yeah, I
Making up
just
for
read the
lost
article.
time here.
Gary, it's 10 a.m.
One every hour since midnight. So,
we're actually planning for the vlog channel like a couple like world travel trips.
Yeah.
I think you were part of one of those discussions, but
Yeah.
we're gonna go to. Oh, you weren't there, were you?
I don't think so.
We're going to Ireland to drink Guinness at the Guinness Tower.
Okay.
Gary's like, I will drink a Guinness at the Guinness Tower.
I actually didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I said I went to the Guinness
Ben
Tower
will
once
say
and I
you
had a
will
sip.
You're gonna drink
And it
one.
was
You're
glorious.
gonna drink one. You gotta drink one.
What
We
if
can't-
you just drank it slowly over the course of a day?
Here's the conspiracy, people. They want to poison me.
Conspiracy.
So,
We tell them all the
final thoughts.
Oh.
I don't think our government is doing this in a way that any even the deepest conspiracy theorist can find out.
No, I don't think I don't denounce. I made up a word now. I don't denounce
Denounce.
that there is a chance that they're doing something. I 100% believe that there's probably some kind of testing we're not being told about.
Sure.
And it might be
Sure.
something as simple as the level of fluoride. They're putting
Yeah.
this into our food, which makes it fortified, and maybe that'll make us better. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something as extreme as eugenics.
Yes.
We'll never know until we're 30 and it becomes declassified.
Until we're 30.
And I don't think any of these conspiracy
So
theories are true.
several years ago.
Yes.
Until we're 60. 30 years from
60.
now.
There you
Okay,
go.
okay.
30 years from now.
Yeah.
No math good.
I haven't had a lot of
okay, it's
caffeine today,
fine.
guys. I need a coffee.
Okay. So yeah, so keep talking.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's caught on to what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that it exists and there's something going on.
Oh, me neither.
But
Me neither. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, that's the way I feel. If they are doing something, I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they
Yeah.
aren't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are.
We don't know
But
that.
yeah, it's not something that we're gonna know about. It's the same thing with the secret societies, and everybody knows where they meet. Like, no,
Yeah.
you don't,
Yeah.
because then it's not a secret society.
Yeah.
So if they are poisoning us, or they're doing something to us, we're not gonna know about it because that's just how it works.
So when the government finally develops a zombie cure, just like as a safe bet,
Sure.
they'll discover it actually creates zombies.
that's how the
That's our
zombie
next
apocalypse
episode.
is
Isn't
done.
that the plot to
Yeah.
like Dead Rising, the video game series?
Oh, I don't know.
They created what they thought was a cure for something and it made zombies instead.
Well, I mean, that's what Resident Evil is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
it was
was
the
the
cancer
T.
cure.
Yeah, it was the T virus
Originally
was supposed to be something.
Omega Man, but I Am Legend.
Yeah, Iron
Yeah.
Legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
said Iron
Oh,
Legend.
you just say
That's not
Iron
right,
Legend.
yeah, yeah.
We need
I
more.
am Iron Man.
We need caffeine.
Yeah, we do.
That is not a conspiracy. That is a fact. So
They just want us to
that
think
is
we need caffeine.
yeah.
Think about
What do you
it.
guys think we should talk about next time?
I don't know.
Twitch. What should we talk
The
about?
Disney
next time?
conspiracy.
Oh, Frozen.
Oh yeah. I
the
know.
Frozen Disney conspiracy.
Frozen Walt underneath Disneyland. Disney World.
Probably Disney World.
He's probably under the haunted.
That was his
What
latest
was
project.
it, the Simpsons joke? Don't worry, Mr. Burns. Once we've figured out a cure for 16 stab wounds, we'll revive you. They're like, we're at 11.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay, actually, that's a great idea. Next episode, we are going to talk about the Frozen Walt Disney.
And we'll all show up in costume.
Ben's.
I'm
going-
Mickey. Dibs on Mickey. You're gonna be Elsa.
I was gonna say you were gonna be Elsa.
No, he's Elsa.
Elsa.
What's that?
Anyway, that is our next conspiracy. Please come back to this channel when that's posted, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us
watching.
today. And don't forget, you can support us by going to our merch store, Patreon, or following us on Twitch, or just subscribing to the channel because your support is what makes this show happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Where can they find us, Benny?
Tales of Earth.
Yeah.
They're nowhere else.
I am on YouTube, also at Film Circuit, and Twitter at Film Circuit, and Instagram
you're
at
at Tales
Northward
of
Films.
Tales of Earth.
Is that where you want to keep it?
I'm
End it right
I'm
there?
for
No,
I
I'm
am
messing
Andy
with
on
you.
Oh, okay,
Instagram.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're like the branding genius over here. So,
I'm working on it.
and then where are you?
For I am the Andy on Instagram.
Yeah, and Benny is
Somehow he's getting more in his private one than I am. You guys like Andy more than me?
What do you mean?
My private Instagram that
Yeah.
I don't promote, I guess, which is, I guess, why you're winning. Mine's at Benny's _adventure.
Oh, that
Underscore the mark, not the word.
one. Benny underscore adventure.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for
We'll see you
joining
next
us.
time.